Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace, and our Mark II Leon Cupra K1 has been on quite a journey since we bought it. We've done absolutely loads of cosmetic work, as well as absolutely loads of engine work. It has had Wassenaar rods and pistons, a stunning racing line intake. You can't see it, but there's a Forge intercooler in there, a TTE 480 turbo down the back, and there's absolutely loads of other bits on this car. We've probably spent close to £20,000 now, including the car at £3,500. And the reason for that is because of the issues that we had with the engine, and we knew this was going to cost a lot of money to get sorted out. We thought, why don't we just create an absolutely bang-on Mark II Cupra K1. So that then also included things like the brakes, the suspension, the rear subframe, bushes, all of the bodywork, the wheels and tyres. This car, we've gone above and beyond to create a perfect Cupra K1. So apart from the fact that it is absolutely filthy, but we have just got back from Wales, the road trip where we've done 300 or 400 miles, ready for its final oil change and stage 3 at Awesome GTI in a couple of weeks' time. Well, I found an issue straight away, and that is that we got aluminium welded before we put it back on, because it had snapped previously. You can see the new weld just there, and it snapped again. Now obviously it sits a bit too far forward and it'll catch the fan. Obviously it's not a massive job to take it off, but I think we're just going to need a new one, because that bracket looks like it's just going to keep snapping there. So whilst the oil is draining out of there, I'm going to see about getting these rear brake lines off. So there we go, that is off. Now one of you guys did actually say, watch where that is routed, because it looks like it could catch on your wheel, and well, yeah, it did. So the ones we've gone for now are ever so slightly shorter. The kink in the little sort of connector bit, the banjo bit at the end, is slightly different, and now it fits absolutely perfectly, as you can see. So it loops up. We can't get it through the original hole because obviously the connector either side of this is too big to fit through here, but it goes just over. It misses the handbrake cable, plenty of room there, and it goes up into the original connector. Well, no, it's not original anymore because we replaced that, as you know. But yeah, that is miles better, miles neater, nowhere near the wheel, perfect. It's absolutely nowhere near the inner edge of the wheel, so much better, well happy with that. And now I need to bleed the brakes again. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace really is the #1 platform for you to run your business. And they've made it super easy for anybody to be able to build their own website. Now, Squarespace offer loads of different website templates for you to choose from. Once you've found the template you want, this platform is super customizable. You can add your own logo, add your own text, add your own images and photographs, and have it looking exactly how you want. And if all that isn't enough, one of the best features by far is creating your own email campaigns. Grow and engage your audience by creating powerful email content that matches your website with your existing products, blog posts and logo, so your messaging is consistent and effective. Not only that, you'll see exactly what your website will look like on a mobile device too. So when you're ready to create your amazing website, make sure you check out the link in the description below and use code EvilGT for your 10% off. Now, I realise that this doesn't say Miller's on it, but this is Miller's 1040, I think, Nano Drive. Now, because I'm a cheapskate, it was cheaper for me to get the Millers straight out the barrel from Awesome GTI by about 15 quid than it was to actually buy them in the pre-done bottles. So I asked Johnny P, and the little legend had a spare oil bottle here that was completely empty. We filled this up with Millers, and I saved myself some money. So yeah, that's the reason why it's not got Millers on it. So there we are, oil change done, filter done, brake lines done, job done. However, I do still need to bleed the brakes because obviously we've lost quite a lot of brake fluid there. I'll get that sorted, but then the car is ready for its stage 3 checks. That's happening in a couple of weeks, and then the tuning just after that. I've drafted in a bit of help because my new brake lines that I put on the back of my car, I needed some help pumping it up, so you know how to do that, right?
I know how to pump it up.
All bled up. Thank you very much to Chris, Mr. Slicks. If you've not already subscribed to Chris's channel, I'm sure you would have done. If you watch ours, you probably do, because he's got much better content than we have when it comes to like fixing stuff properly.
I know how to bodge a car.
Perfect. Well, we could get on quite well here then. Not that this is bodged, all right. This is obviously just very dirty. So when we bought this car a little while ago, our intention was to buy something and see if we could make it 400 horsepower for less than £10,000. But this particular car, although we thought it was going to be a good idea and a good project, this had other ideas. And those other ideas were under there. This engine, cylinder 1, was losing 100 psi, which obviously meant this could not be tuned, especially not to stage 3, 400 plus horsepower. So I came to see these guys, our good friends here at Awesome. There's the gaffer and the other gaffer. There's the two gaffers together there, to see if we could do anything with this car and the engine. And what they suggested was, Ben, it's got to come out, and if it does come out, you may as well build the engine. And that straight away meant that our budget was probably going to be blown, which has meant that the budget has been completely blown. But hey, this car has done 90,000 miles, and it is literally like a brand new. And by the way, if you've enjoyed this series, subscribing to the channel and following us at Evil GT Cars on Instagram will make a massive difference and help the channel loads. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is a day that we have been waiting for ages. Hey, a good friend of mine who's got a hairdresser's car just here, a fast one, but it's still a hairdresser's car. But this is a day that we've been waiting for ages. This car is now coming in for its stage 3 checks to make sure that it's all above board, it's all safe and healthy, ready to have 400 plus horsepower shoved up its backside. Now, I have just got to address you guys when you were saying about getting a Civic Type R, was it like an EP3 or something, I don't know which one it is, and saying you should have just got one of them and strapped a turbo to it. But the thing is, that could very well have possibly been less than 10 grand, no issue. But what happens if the engine wasn't great on that, or there was some other mechanical fault on it? This car, had the engine been sound, we could easily have done this for less than 10 grand. We still probably could have done, even with the engine issues, but because we knew it was going to be over £10,000 with it, we thought we may as well just do everything else that we can see to make this car as good as we possibly can make it. Do you know what I mean? So that was the reason why it's ended up costing us easily, I think the last count on this car, it was nudging 20 grand now, easily nudging 20 grand. And I think the bill alone from here was 12, 13 from Awesome. We obviously had the paint done, that was 1,500 quid, the wheels and tyres were £1,000. Oh, there's loads of bits. So
we are going to run through a series of tests just to make sure the car's healthy. Obviously you'll see what tests we do as we go.
yeah,
I think this was what it failed last time, wasn't it, on the compression? Which...
yeah, cylinder 1 compression, yeah, 100 psi down we were, so anything less than that I'll take, mate. Is that alright? Now the only thing that's worrying me a little bit is I know what Tabby's like, right? He will pick holes in everything. This could be a brand spanking new car, right? Brand new, out of the factory, rolling off the production line, and he'd go, well that's not right there, that's not right, that clip, that hole shouldn't be there, and honestly, he's terrible. So I've done the oil and filter change on this, and no doubt there'll be something that ain't quite right. Although, looking at that, I'm happy with that. There's no leaks at all from the sump, which is good. That is good. And there's no leaks coming from the oil filter housing, which is also good. So far, so good, Tab.
It's supposed to be hanging on.
What's supposed to be hanging on? Oh yeah, that's snapped again. I forgot to tell you about that. So now we've established that the underside of the car is literally like a brand new. I've done absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever. Everything is perfect. We're going to check the top. Ain't that right, Tab? This was the one we had the issues with, cylinder 1. So fingers crossed, that is all hunky-dory now. Compression, I missed that. You was way too fast for me. What were we saying?
So, all good, all balanced.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Yes! Well, that's a result, because that, obviously, you know, we have machined out the block or the cylinders to fit 0.5 mil oversized Wassenaar pistons in. But knowing our luck on this channel, for those who may be new to this channel, literally anything that could go wrong usually does. So I was expecting there to be some other compression issues or just something that wasn't quite right with it. But Tabby is saying, I apologise, I missed that, but Tabby is saying that no, compression is bang on. We're all good. What are you doing here now? Pressure testing me turbo or something? What are you doing?
Pressure testing the inlet tract to make sure there are no leaks.
Are we all right for back pressure?
Back pressure.
Is me pressure that whatever you're doing up there?
The inlet.
Pressure testing the inlet.
Yeah.
Was there
to make
any
sure
leaks?
When you've fitted these hoses that you've connected them correctly and there was no leaks.
That was Smiler over there that's fitted me hoses, mate. I've not fitted any hoses.
That's why there's no leaks then.
Oh. That is good news. So far, so good with the news.
So good, yeah.
So I have the Cupra back at the unit now, and in true Evil GT style, this ain't going to plan. The throttle keeps dipping out, as we've mentioned on previous videos. I assumed, basically, literally me presuming, that it was because the runner flap delete thing and all this kind of stuff. It's nothing to do with that, absolutely nothing to do with it. I've spoken to Tabby, he's had a look at the codes in the ECU, the stored fault codes, and it's looking like there's a cam position sensor fault, which one or two of you actually mentioned in the comments, and also an engine speed sensor fault. Now, he doesn't know whether the cam position sensor is causing it to sort of like cut out, which in turn then is bringing up the engine speed sensor fault, or what. But basically, I have ordered, well, not ordered, but I bought 2 second-hand ones from Danny at Wigan Vag Parts, and I'm hoping that if I fit both of them, it'll fix the issue. I don't have time to be messing about with this because tomorrow, Tuesday, this is supposed to be 400 plus horsepower. Now, you guys will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that that sensor, if it focuses, just there is the cam position sensor, I think. And the sensor just in here, this one, is the engine speed sensor. I could have just got that and completely the wrong way around, but that's what I'm going with. Now, the issue that I've got is I don't particularly have a lot of time, so I'm gonna have a go at the one that Tabby thinks it's more likely to be. Hopefully it's that. If not, I've got the other one anyway, and hopefully if it's not the first one, it's definitely the second sensor, fingers crossed. Now, worryingly, the one I've just taken out, which is this one, actually looks newer, I think, than the one I'm about to put in, which obviously, as we know, is the second-hand one. It's because I could get it quick and cheap. However, one thing I have just noticed is the one I've just taken out has like the OEM stamps on it, the VW Audi badges, but the one I've just took out doesn't, which is very strange. So whether this is an aftermarket one and it's just been playing up, I don't know. That's coming out. This one's going in, although it looks older. Fingers crossed it does the job. That was minging. So fiddly to get to try and get the thread started. I'm sweating in here. I think well, it's 30 degrees outside and this is a tin shed, so God knows what it is in here. That is in. I'm not going to change the other one because I am actually curious to see what it is that is the problem. So I'm going to take it out for a drive now. And fingers crossed we're sorted. Now, so far so good. I've left this ticking over whilst I lock the unit up and it's still ticking over. And you're probably thinking, yeah, so what's the big deal about that? But actually, excuse the fans, it's red hot. But actually this used to just conk out. Ticking over, it felt a bit rough and a bit weird, and it just like randomly cut out, but it's still running. And it does seem to be ticking over nice, so I'm gonna have a little drive. It tends to only do it when you're trying to maintain a speed. If you're sort of going through the gears and you're moving along quite quickly, it seems to be okay. But as soon as you're like just maintaining 40 in 4th or 5th, whatever, it's then when literally the revs just go like that off and there's no power at all. You can stamp on the throttle and nothing happens. So I'm gonna have a little drive around. I'm gonna make my way to Awesome GTI as well because I want Tabby to just check it over and have a look as well. And fingers crossed that sensor has sorted it out. So I'm about 5-10 minutes up the road. I'm on a dual carriageway. I'm in 5th, maintaining about 45 mile an hour. And this genuinely is where, not every single time, but more often than not, it would just, the revs would just go. And it would just, it's like 0 revs and I'd have to roll and try and turn the engine back on and all kinds of random stuff. But so far, we seem to be okay. Now, another thing I've noticed, which could be completely placebo, I don't know, but the difference in the engine, it seems to be a lot smoother. The engine seems to, I don't know, just be really nice, to be honest, as opposed to, it was quite lumpy before and a bit sort of, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it may be completely in my head, but thank God it's not dipped the revs, it's not sort of cut out the engine at all at this point. It's been completely fine and I've been driving exactly how I knew it would do it before. Tab, I am not one to blow my own trumpet, but I think I fixed it.
You think we fixed
I just need you to confirm. Do I make a good apprentice or not? I've got a job.
I mean, in installation purposes, I guess you did the job, didn't you? But...
So the Grim Reaper's gonna have a look at my car now, and fingers crossed we're all good. Before where it says cam actual, so cam adjustment, intake B1 actual, it was saying, what was it, negative 60 odd?
It would go intermittently to negative 65, yeah.
And that's the point where it's cutting out?
Yeah.
Right, so I'll keep the camera on there so you can actually see it. It's obviously this column just there, but at the moment, so another 5-10 minutes out with Tabby, and it looks good. What are you reckoning?
Yeah, I think we've cracked it.
I think, we?
Yes, exactly we.
To be fair, you told me what it was and I replaced it, so that's fair enough. So whilst Tabby walks away over there, he seems to be happy with everything. I am definitely happy with everything. I'm glad I've fixed it. It was a joint effort because he told me what it was that had broke. But If anybody has that same situation again, where the throttle just literally dips out, it's the cam position sensor. I think one of you two guys, or one or two of you guys should say, mentioned that in the comments. So thank you very much. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do like and subscribe. Also, the next video on this car is going to be tomorrow, but I'll start it tomorrow, in that we're going to get it tuned. Buzzing about that, over 400 horsepower. So yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.